the forwards and Ian Ryan and Ger Collins and Shawnee Buckley, a wee bit more composure, able to get their scores without as much fuss as Waterford gave everything they had. You couldn't help but feel sorry for them. But for Limerick, first trophy in 114 years, they deserve credit for that.
Absolutely. OK, time for us to take another break here on the programme. When we come back, we'll be looking ahead to the Summer's Football Championship and considering the prospects for one county who'll be hoping to repeat the epic journey of 50 years ago. And you're welcome back again to Sunday Sport. Now this weekend we've had the conclusion of the Allianz National Football League, and now all the counties will be concentrating on the big games ahead in the Championship. Well, everybody starts off full of hope. Some lose their way early on, but as Kerry proved last year, well, if you have the determination, you can find the high road again. Yeah, that's the story of last year. Where will all the drama lie in 2010? Well, let's get the thoughts on all of that from both Kevin and from Anthony. Anthony, why not start with Munster? Because the first thing when you look at the Munster Football Championship draw this year that jumps out at you is the two big guns, Cork and Kerry, same side of the draw. Yeah,
the weaker counties managed to get rid of the seeding that had been in place there for years. So obviously that's now effectively, many people would say, the Munster final. I think you look at that game in advance of it. Cork have no game from today until they play Kerry on the 6th of June. Kerry have the benefit of a game against a very tricky game against Tipperary in their opener. Tipperary beat them in the under-21 Munster final, and the benefit of Division 2 experience. So that's a tough game for Kerry, but you still expect them to come through and to meet Cork. On the other side of the draw, you would expect Limerick, I think, to make it through to the final. And if it's a Cork-Limerick final, which I expect it to be, Cork have struggled with Limerick over the years. But, you know, if they are the team that we think they are...
Clare tipped away nicely during the league campaign.
They're going about their business, you know, nice and quietly. And I suppose with Waterford losing the Division 4 final yesterday, they'll be hoping that Waterford, that's a big blow to them psychologically. But I still feel that Limerick are a wee bit ahead of the other two. And Limerick-Cork final, and I say Cork, to me, are the team to beat this year, and if they're going to be the team that ultimately won the All-Ireland, they have to beat Limerick in a Munster final.
Yeah. All right, that's the situation down in Munster. Kevin, why not move on to Connacht next to have a look at the situation here? And again, I suppose, Mayo are the defending champions here. Galway will have their ambitions naturally enough. And again, the same way, the two of them are on the same side of the draw as well.
Yeah. They're seeded to meet, but I think Sligo are going to have a big say in that.
Of course, now, obviously, yes, against Mayo. Yeah.
If Mayo did anything good this weekend, it would be to have a look at how Sligo played on Saturday night. But Mayo are better than that, and they will improve. But as you point out, one of the big guns are going to fall away. So it's an opportunity on the other side of the draw, if you like, the Leitrim Roscommon side. And so we're going to see someone fresh or pretty new in the Connacht final. Who's going to come out the other side? After this weekend, I'm pretty shot over Mayo's chances.
Well,
but
Mayo have to go up to Markovic Park, and of course we're making a broad assumption that Galway are going to win in New York.
Yeah, well, I think we'll get that prediction right. We'll go for Galway in that one. And Galway are kind of a dark horse in this championship in a funny sort of way. They really haven't revealed their hand under Joe Kernan yet. So all to play for really in this year's. It's going to be a really good and exciting Connacht championship.
Roscommon Leitrim obviously will have their own ambitions in the Connacht Championship, but unfortunately, as we know from Leitrim's point of view, their preparation now for this Connacht Championship is against the backdrop of the horrible tragedy that's happened in the past week.
It's just shocking. You know, a week on, it's still such a horrible tragedy for
the loss of Philly McGuinness
for his family and for his club and for the county. It's shocking. You know, your heart goes out to them. And you were talking there at the top of this little piece about everyone going out with hope in their hearts for the championship. And I've no doubt Philly looked at the draw and said, gee, you know, we beat Roscommon. Leitrim could be in a Connacht final, probably Philly's first senior Connacht final, if I'm right. And that's all been snatched away with them. You know, it just shows how fragile life is, I guess. And he was a lovely, you know, enthusiastic young footballer, and anything I've read about him, you know, very, very positive, and just you have to pray for their family. Shocking.
Puts everything in perspective, Anthony, I suppose. You start talking about football and championships.
It almost doesn't seem right talking about football and permutations and championships when you have a family and a club and a GA community dealing with the tragic loss of Philip McGuinness, and we can only extend our deepest sympathies to them, and our thoughts are with them. And
indeed, on behalf of everybody here on Sunday Sport, we do send our condolences to the McGuinness family and, of course, to Philly's many friends and colleagues as well. OK, now at this point here in the programme, we're going to look at the prospects for one particular county. Now, they've had a very promising league campaign, earning Division 1 status for next year. Now they're hoping to emulate the achievement of 50 years ago when they claimed the All-Ireland title. Well, that success for, of course, Down was not only their first, but also the first time that the Sam Maguire was taken across the border. Well, the team had many famous names, including the McCartans, Dan and James. And if Down are to scale those heights again this summer, the name McCartan will again be centrally involved.
50 years ago, Ireland was a different place. The simplicity of life and the poorness of its people meant there was far more time for community and less time to be jet-setting around the world. 1960 was the year Wexford hurlers won the Liam McCarthy Cup, but the biggest and most talked about result of the year came on the last Sunday in September. The Kingdom of Kerry were beaten by an emerging force, Down, the first team to bring the Sam Maguire across the border.
Was a victory so widely acclaimed.
Sean O'Neill was special. He was just 20 years of age when he lined out at wing forward in the All-Ireland final in 1960. 3 All-Ireland medals, 2 All-Stars and a place in the Millennium team is proof of his extraordinary talents.
We were part of something very, very special, which we set out to achieve a purpose and we had a target set for ourselves, but we didn't realise the impact that succeeding in doing that would have on our careers, on our lives afterwards. We always came out of the dressing room on the run, and sometimes it was interpreted as being arrogant or whatever. It wasn't that. It is that we love to get on the park, we love to get out and get the feel of the ground. If Kerry were a better side than us, they were going to have to prove to us on the grass. That's the only time we ever conceded that a team was better than us was when they did it on the field. We didn't take reputation. Reputation counted for nothing with us.
Paddy Doherty remembers vividly the great days with Down. In the same half-forward line as O'Neill, the Castlewellan star was a deadly finisher. His second-half penalty strike against Kerry's Johnny Cullity guaranteed the bonfires would blaze on the mountains of Mourne.
I scored a goal in 5 points, but I should have scored more now. And I always talk about the one that Patsy Hagan, Lord of Mercy on, put me clean through for a goal. And the ball hit the upright right down at the corner and went away out over the 21-yard line. But if I had scored that now, I'd have been doing terrible with it. It was great to win, you know, and we never really thought what was going to happen coming home till we came home. And then we realised there was something big.
This is where the All-Ireland champions of 1960 trained, Newcastle. A county grounds 50 years ago, a county grounds still today. Back then they came here twice a week to train under the watchful eye of their team manager Barney Carr and team selector Dr. Maurice Hayes. Together they planned and strategised about bringing the Sam Maguire across the border for the very first time. In September 1960 they achieved their objective. Dr. Maurice Hayes is a former senator and ombudsman of Northern Ireland. A distinguished academic, his appointment as Assistant Secretary to the Down County Board was highlighted by a 10-year plan to win the All-Ireland. Within 5 years, the plan had worked. Down were now the football kings of Ireland.
Most Ulster teams up to that time, they were so overwhelmed by Cavan that if they beat Cavan once in a blue moon, that was their All-Ireland.
And after that, it was a question of putting up a good show. I used to compare it to the 4-minute mile, you know, that up to Bannister, people said it was physiologically impossible. And after he did it, everybody was doing it. Now, I think we did the same for Ulster teams and indeed for smaller teams in relation to the All-Ireland. There's a story told about Jack Kyle, who was asked, you see, about the rugby triple crown team, and he said, how would your team do against that? And he said, I think we get a draw. And the guy says, that all? Yeah, I said, you know, we're 80.
This is beautiful Warren Point, and this is Bernie Carr. He was possibly the GAA's first manager